So those of you who follow my channel will be aware of the fact that as a former Tasmanian, when I see videos that are openly attacking Tasmania, I tend to arc up. So I've actually done a reaction video to this individual once before in the past, and that one wasn't favourable either. He did a video talking about Battery Point. It was one of my very early videos. I can't remember the context of it, but I can remember that I was highly unimpressed with this guy. So when this video came up in my feed, entitled Bruny Island Kind of Sucks, sorry, well, especially given that as a young child I had many camping trips at Bruny Island, I couldn't leave this video without doing a reaction. Now, I actually haven't watched this video, so maybe by some miracle the title might be designed to draw people in and may not actually reflect what's in the video, who knows. But I thought I'd have a look at it and have my say. So without further ado, let's just jump in and look at this video.
Hello. Mountain! We're back to regular vlogs again. I think what I'm going to try and do is edit these on my phone and upload them.
Why is that?
So I can
Oh, you can do it already.
Yeah, so I can just get it done. So we ended up coming down from the Western Arthurs Range 2 days early. For a variety of reasons, which you'll see when the movie comes out in a couple of weeks. But because of that, we have like 3 days to kill here in Hobart. So the plan for today is to go get breakfast and then go to this cool outdoor store that we saw, and then we're gonna go to Bruny Island and then got a bunch of other plans for the rest of the week. So
it's gonna be a great day.
We just got regular vlog plans, so we're just playing tourist in Hobart for 3 days.
And good news, I can walk again.
And you can walk again, yeah.
I started eating immediately, but we got food.
It's very good. I was just very hungry. We're going to a second-hand outdoor wear store called Recycled Recreation Tasmania. I went here last time I was here, and they're super cool.
So I actually had to look that one up because it's a new store since I left Tasmania. It's if you're Tasmanian in Hobart area and want to find it, it is on Elizabeth Street, just near Bathurst Street. So it's on the side of the road heading out of town, just after Bathurst Street. Certainly, I can't think of any shops around it because it's been quite some time since I was in Tassie, but could be a good shop to check out by the sounds of it if you are in Tasmania. I know we've got a camping shop in Bendigo that's got all like second-hand stuff and factory seconds and stuff like that, and obviously it's going to be different stock all the time, but it's amazing some of the things you can find in these little stores.
Right, you trying them on?
Trying them on.
Do they fit?
See which one fits best.
Oh, you've got two different pairs.
That's a different best. See which one I like best. Gotta figure out which one I like best.
They look pretty cool.
So, those shoes, $78, and then $1 for the master, just $79 all up.
Wow. Alright, what did you think of the second-hand store?
I loved it. I got stuff.
It was
What I loved most about it was the owner.
Yeah, she's lovely, right? She's so sweet.
She had loads of stories about everything, everywhere she climbed in the Western Isles and the things we did. So it was just fantastic hearing all the stories.
She's so sweet. She's just like, yeah, I did this and I did that, and just like very experienced mountaineer. So like you tell her these stories, she's like, yeah, I did that too, and I did that with this like little Swedish girl, like blah blah blah. It's really cool.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like it's an overly cheap place to go. So my personal opinion is that if I was going to get outdoor stuff, unless I was going to get it at a fairly cheap price, I would just go and buy it brand new. Once it starts approaching the price of a brand new item, I can't see the point in getting something that's secondhand.
We're just spending our morning going through all these outdoor stores. Just looking at all the like outdoor gear and jackets and gear and clothes and just drooling over everything really.
Getting very greedy.
Getting very greedy, spending too much money.
Very similar to what I'm wearing.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm buying this jacket and I'm buying this book. Tim lent me this book. I've been reading through it, but I need my own copy because I feel bad. I've had his copy for like 3 months now, so I'm gonna buy my own.
Go gear.
The person at Find Your Feet was really nice. It's so hot. The person at Find Your Feet was really nice and they gave me a massive discount because we were talking about like the trip to Western Arthurs and everything. So I got this jacket for, I got all of this. The jacket was $220 and I got all of it for like $230. So I basically got a free book and a buckle repair for my backpack. And glasses. And we got these, which look super sexy. I'm wearing my new jacket and my old jacket, and we're going to Bruny Island.
I was starting to wonder when they were actually going to Bruny Island, because so far it was all about going shopping in Hobart, which has got nothing to do with Bruny Island.
We've arrived at the ferry. We gotta take a boat across to Bruny Island. We're on an island. Do you know we're on an island?
We're on an island.
We're on an island.
On the neck of an island.
I learnt my lesson last time.
See you up there.
How are your legs?
Oh my gosh.
Whoa! Look at that! Look at those waves! That's wild!
Hello.
Those are some fat waves! I mean, I guess that is just like... What is it? Not the Atlantic? Yeah. Yeah, it's the Atlantic. It's very cool and pretty up here. My camera is dying slowly. Camera repair guy is gonna love me. My shutter button isn't working and my display's broken.
So far a lot of this video has been more about him than the places he's been to. So we've caught a brief glimpse of part of the neck at Bruny Island. I would have liked to have seen some of the ferry ride. You are allowed, well, you used to always be allowed to get out of your car on the ferry ride across to Bruny Island, and it's not a bad view heading across. So, you know, missed opportunity there. Maybe I can understand that it would be a little bit windy because that's what Tasmania is like for you. But he had his fancy $200 jacket, so it's not like he would have been cold. So, missed opportunity there.
On the plus side though,
Yeah.
my record button still works, so I can still film. I just can't take any photos.
Good times.
Dad and I have seen the thing that we wanted to see, which was the big thing in the middle. So now we've decided to get beer, cheese, bread and coffee.
Okay, maybe it's just me, but I find it utterly baffling when I see people go somewhere like the Neck on Bruny Island and they go to a lookout and they look at the beach, but they don't go down to the beach. Like, what is the point? Especially if you're going to spend whatever the cost is on a ferry ride to go across. You want to make it worth your while being there. So, how odd. I mean, when you look at any beach in Tasmania, the beaches are just so chockers usually with seashells and lots of really pretty, sometimes unique seashells. And who doesn't love just a nice, quiet walk along the beach?
This is like the second thing that you can do on Bruny Island.
It's actually the first thing. The thing.
It's the thing. Boom. Cheese. Old cheese, new cheese, beer, old man, new man.
Yeah, old cheese, new cheese. Very cheesy.
Okay, I'll give it to them. The cheese and beer was really good.
Yeah, it was.
There are more than 2 things that you can do on Bruny Island, and I'll talk more on that later. We'll see what else he does. Maybe he just hasn't finished yet. But I will just point out, if you are planning on going to Bruny Island just to go and look at the beach for 30 seconds and to go and sample cheese and beer, well, then that's a bit of a waste of money, really, because there's wonderful beaches on the east coast. And there's actually and I can't think of the name of it, and I'm guessing it's probably still there because it was quite successful. There was actually a cheese shop, well, there's cheese shops everywhere in Tasmania, but there's one in particular I can think of that is just before you reach Richmond, which has outdoor dining areas where you can sit with a cheese platter and everything. And you can go into Richmond and get boutique. You can go to the Lark Distillery. I have no doubt there's probably places on mainland Tasmania where you can get boutique beer. So if you're just wanting a fancy eating experience and you're not actually wanting to really experience Bruny Island, well, there's other ways of doing it.
We've come to the conclusion that Bruny Island is a farce and there's not much to do here.
As an island, 5 out of 10.
It's fine. You know, there's there's a lookout and there's cheese and beer, and that's
Also,
kind
I
of it.
said, maybe we're a bit spoiled after the past couple of days.
That too. Very much that. But also, I don't know, it's such a tourist attraction. I felt like there'd be more.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're headed back now to the mainland.
So I'm going to recommend a few videos before I even start talking about this. If you go to One Pack Wanderers, many of you know of them, you probably watched their videos. They went to Bruny Island last year, they loved it, and they did a really good video showing what you can actually do on Bruny Island. There's also a video in my list where I looked at the albino wallabies that they have on Bruny Island, because amongst the many things you can do on Bruny Island is you can go to, I think it's around Adventure Bay. They have a quite healthy population of albino wallabies, and you tend not to see these on mainland Tasmania, but they are breeding and quite prolifically breeding on Bruny Island. So if you go to the right location, like I said from memory, I think it's Adventure Bay, you can go and see these wallabies, and they're pretty amazing. Now, there's plenty of hikes you can do on Bruny Island. I believe Tia and Chevrio actually did a hike around the area where the wallabies were. There's also a place that has fresh oysters. It's an actual oyster farm, where you can go and you can get a platter of fresh oysters, you know, oysters that were caught that day. Can't get fresher, and they're probably the best oysters you're going to ever have. That said, I'm allergic to oysters, so it's not something that I would be trying. But if you like oysters, definitely so worth doing. If you're not into raw oysters, they do oysters Kilpatrick, which is the cooked ones with Worcestershire sauce and bacon, and I believe a little cheese, and they are actually utterly divine. Unless, of course, they are going to have an effect on you, as they would with me. I do enjoy them, I just can't eat them. What else is there? There is, of course, the famous fridge, the bakery fridge. There is a bakery on Bruny Island, and you can go to this particular spot and you can get fresh bread, all sorts of fresh bread, fruity stuff, sourdough. There's actually some really great accommodation on Bruny Island. there is a channel called Dane and Stacey, I think it is. I haven't seen their content for quite some time. But they visited Bruny Island and they stayed at a really, really lovely sort of Airbnb type place. Of course, you know, it's not like the city where you get super exciting things happening. It is a place where you go to relax. There's countless amazing beaches, beautiful beaches that, because you do have to go there via ferry, it means that you get nice quiet areas that aren't hugely populated. You can go to the beach and just really relax there without it being crowded. Offhand, I can't think of any other things because it's been a very, very long time since I've been to Bruny Island. But I think when you watch other content on Bruny Island, a lot of people will say, we wish we had decided to do an overnight stay here and stay longer. There is just so much you can do. I mean, you go there at the right time of the year, and around the neck is the nightly penguin parade. Obviously, it depends on the right time of the year, but you have penguins nesting there in nesting season. So I don't know what their problem is. Clearly, well, I just don't know. I think, you know, every other channel that you look at that have visited Bruny Island have fell in love with it. And here they are, they've been to 2 places on Bruny Island. They've decided that's all there is on Bruny Island, so I'm guessing that they probably didn't do any research, probably didn't ask any locals, maybe they didn't talk to anyone going over on the ferry, maybe they didn't ask anyone at any of the, or at that one business that they went to, because there is plenty to do at Bruny Island. It is not boring.
Like I said the other day, I don't have my laptop with me at the moment, which is rough, but I still want to edit the vlog of these couple days outside of the Trek vlog, which I'm going to have to do on my phone. So I need to buy an SD card adapter so that I can copy all the footage over to my phone and edit it there.
So I did a quick search online because I wanted to show that there is more than 2 things you can do on Bruny Island. If you look at the top paragraph here, it mentions that it has beaches, cliffs, wildlife. Bruny Island producers specialising in oysters, cheese, honey, whiskey and chocolate. And I think you see a lot of those on other blogs. And here we have, down the bottom, it mentions the Truganini Lookout, which I think is where they went. The lighthouse on Cape Bruny. You can do boat trips, which around there would be pretty amazing. Picnics, duh. Now, a quick Google search will come up with a lot of things that you can do on Bruny, so I'm not going to go on and on. I will show you a guide, like a downloadable map in a moment, but I just wanted to point out that they also talk about wineries. There's a house of whiskey and walks. Now, this guy puts himself out there as some sort of, you know, bushwalking guy. He's Mr. Nature, yada, yada, yada. And here we have, Bruny has a suite of coastal day walks, including 2 of Tasmania's 60 great short walks. There are so many walks that you can do on Bruny Island, trust me. And, of course, it mentions the white wallabies. So, basically, maybe this guy should actually do his research before visiting places, rather than going somewhere, going to 2 places and saying, well, that's all you can do here and it's so boring. I feel sorry for anyone who has watched his video and based on his video decided not to go to Bruny Island. I think a majority of people who live in southern Tasmania, if you're headed to Tasmania, one of the things they will tell you is you must go to Bruny Island. And if you look at various travel vlogs, you will see so many travel vlogs where they rave about Bruny Island. And of course, if you look at this downloadable pamphlet, you can see just how many things there are to do on Bruny Island. So my takeaway from this is that this guy clearly has done utterly no research. I would like to know what his version of interesting is, because, you know, he's claiming that he's this outdoorsy kind of guy, and yet he's turning around and saying Bruny Island is boring. And I've never in my entire life heard anyone refer to Bruny Island as boring. Mostly you hear people who've been there saying they wish they'd actually stayed for longer. Obviously, if you're someone who just likes going shopping, going to shopping malls, going to outdoor clothing stores, then maybe it's not as exciting as all that. But if you're after somewhere with great walks, great beaches, somewhere to really relax, and in the warmer months, somewhere to camp and go swimming, I mean, really, what other... I would probably say Maria Island would be my first choice, but that's just a preference thing. But I would certainly highly recommend Bruny Island, and I think the majority of people who've been there would. So I apologise if this comes across as being a somewhat negative video, but like I said, I do arc up when people fail to do their research, or when people have some sort of preconceived notion of a place, and with that preconceived notion, turn around and slam the place and give the impression that it's nothing at all like what it is. I think I'd love to hear from anyone who has actually been to Bruny Island. Anyone from Tassie, what are your thoughts on Bruny Island? Would you consider it to be boring? Or would you consider it to be one of those must-do locations for anyone choosing to visit Tasmania? I look forward to hearing your comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.